I finished a 100-mile race before I ran a sanctioned marathon. And so when I decided I want to do something faster, I at least had this perspective of, well, I can do 100. Marathon's like a quarter of that, a little above a quarter. And so it was like the distance was not as overwhelming. And it's a long story. I did a half, and then I was like, maybe I could do 100. And so I skipped all the in-between races. And sure, I had to run like a marathon in my training plan for the 100-mile race, but it was kind of interesting because I had this different perspective, and I was looking at shoes. And in my journey with running, every runner is like, what shoe works the best? And then you find something that's comfortable, and then you find the right shoes for different types of workouts, or trails versus road, or speed versus recovery. And this shoe is something I've stuck with for speed work for 2 years. When I ran that marathon, I did a 2:58:45. It's like an average of, I'm not exactly sure, like 6:45 per mile. And I really like the shoe, and it's beyond the carbon plate. So like the Ultra Vanish 2, got it right here. This wasn't the shoes, or the pair that I finished the marathon in. But I love this shoe, and there's a specific reason for it besides just the carbon plate, because that's a big thing, super shoes. Carbon plates like helps with speed and helps you use less effort. Like everyone's running and stuff like this. But the reason why I like the Ultra specifically is the wider toe box. I got kind of big feet, and when I started running, I got plenty of blisters, and there's two things I did to fix this. First, I started wearing toe socks, so in Gingies. I wear them all the time now. I don't have regular socks really. I have a couple pairs, but even throughout my workday, I'm in Gingies. I like them that much. And that helped because with toe socks, there's like this extra layer of fabric between your toes. And I felt like my toes didn't rub up. And I've seen that where I get less blisters than when I was wearing socks with a band that kind of pull your toes in. So that's helped. I mean, you could also add in like putting Vaseline or squirrel nut butter on your feet. That'll definitely help. And I do that for longer races. But the thing that's helped me a lot when it comes to just form and feeling better and avoiding blisters is the wider toe box. I've seen a lot of people out there hate on Altra, and I want to give some perspective. If you've heard about minimalist shoes or zero drop or wider toe boxes, I think it's better. I think it's more functional. The hate I see from people with Altra is they go from like a 6 millimeter drop or a narrow shoe, and then they try and do all the running and volume in Ultras, and they don't make like the transition between adapting to it, right? Like with a minimalist shoe or barefoot walking, you can't like flip it right away, in my opinion. When I started with Ultra and running, like walking around in barefoot shoes, I didn't do all my volume in that. I switched it around. I walked in barefoot shoes most of the time while walking to get my feet more adapted to that kind of format in a shoe. And I think that makes a big difference, because if you, like, I use the example of if you would only ever squat 100 pounds and then we throw 400 pounds on there, of course that's going to end badly, right? And with Ultra, it's a different shape. There's not drop or as much, and so you have to adapt to that. If your body's been used to these narrow shoes with a heel lift or a lot of like padding, like that is not, you can't just make the switch right away. And I think that's important to realize. I think it's better. I have avoided a lot of injuries because of this. I feel like I'm running properly and I can connect with the ground more. And that's not to say that people who have done Nike or Adidas or whatever, or Hoka for years, if it works well for you, that's great. Like, I'm not here to, if something works well, like that's the thing when it comes to like content or talking about these things, is I'm not here to say my way's the highway. If you find something that works for you, I don't want to fix that. Like, this is a personal journey. You need to find that out for yourself and figure it out. This is something that I found out that helped me with blisters, it helped me feel better, avoid injury, and it's worthwhile to me. So if you're like constantly dealing with injuries or not feeling good on your runs, or blisters, for example, there could be a lot of reasons for that. Switching to Ultra helped a lot for me with those certain issues. You just got to be careful when you go to a zero drop shoe or something that's a lot different than what you're used to, because you can't just throw 400 pounds on the bar. So when I broke the 3 hour mark for the marathon, I put like a lot of that has to do with Altra, but also I mean the super shoe is pretty cool. Like carbon plates are awesome. So if I had more money, I'd probably run in them all the time, but maybe someday. So if you like running, my name's Reese. This channel is just pretty much about fitness and running. I'm trying to help people learn from my mistakes, avoid injuries as best as possible, and hopefully set some PRs along the way. I mean, that's pretty cool too. So I hope I get to see you in another video sometime soon. Peace!